everybody to an exclusive episode of The Sheriff. Guys, do I ever have a treat for you? I have a treat for you because this is a treat for me. I am interviewing one of my buddies that I have not talked to, we were saying probably in about 20 years. So I'm going to give some memories from our childhood in the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I would like to introduce to you my special guest. These are my memories as a kid. He was a very, very cool kid. He had cool haircuts, rat tails and all. He had cool shoes all the time, very polite, and looked so happy to be at the arena. He was the smoothest skater I've ever seen. He was very humble, supportive teammate, great hockey sense, and was the end-to-end king. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today was the best 83 age player in the 83 age group, right with Jason Spezza and Stephen Weiss in the OHL. He was the franchise player for the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, where he performed and graduated to the NHL. Two-time Stanley Cup champion and one of Scarborough's finest. He has over 1,000 NHL games, ladies and gentlemen, with an incredible 648 points. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mr. Trevor Daley, how are you doing today, my man?
Wow. I should have had you as an agent my last couple of years, Sean. Jesus.
Hey man, I'm happy that you're happy with it. I'll admit it was a little bit long, but like I said, Trev, like I've known you, bro, since you were a little kid, right? We were both little kids. We're 1 year apart. I feel like I'm so much older than you because you still look like you're 18. And meanwhile, I'm living the Michael Jordan lifestyle and looking a little bit older. But I wanted to get right into this with you, bro, because we were just talking about some memories. So I just want to tell the listeners how we know each other. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Trevor Daley played for the Don Mills Flyers, and so did I, but we're 1 year apart. Trevor's a year younger. But Trevor was so good and such a smooth skater that my team would call him up for many tournaments. Hey, Trev, like how many, like I would say probably about 2 or 3 tournaments every summer at least, right?
Yeah, no, it was, it's well, you know, the intro kind of brought me back, gave me some goosebumps back in those times. You know, I was so lucky to get called up and play with, you know, guys like yourself that, you know, when you're a young age, you look up to people like you, obviously, with, you know, us being the same color skin and having the same color skin moms.
Yes.
Which is greatness. You know, it gives me goosebumps to think back and, you know, to mention that you guys had such a great coach there. And, you know,
Mr. Glenn Robeson,
that took care of the guys and was a resource for so many kids, and Glenn Robeson too.
Yeah, man. I mean, isn't it nice to say Mr. Robeson's name, Glenn Robeson, like his name will come up, Trevor, and God bless his soul. His name will come up like when I'm at my mom's house sometimes. And every time I think of that guy, man, like he was really unique. And ladies and gentlemen, who I'm talking about now was my AAA coach from novice till novice, minor Adam, and Adam, at least the first 3 years of AAA. And those were the years, Trevor, man. We were young men. So that's 9, 10, and 11, right?
Yeah.
We were super young playing together, bro. But I want to talk about that around that time. I want to get into your family a little bit, Trev. Now, I think of you as one of Scarborough's finest, right? Because I know you spent time in Scarborough. So now Hockey DB has Toronto. How would you consider yourself a Scarborough man, or would you say more so Toronto?
You know, I would say more Toronto, just because that's kind of where I spent most of my time. But my mom first, you know, her first house she got to, you know, finally afford and live in was in Scarborough. So, you know, I was back and forth from down in the city and Scarborough a lot. But I probably spent most of my time in the city. When I went to Scarborough, it was just on hockey nights, and then I always went to school in Toronto, though.
But there was a short time that you were in Livonia, right? Like Nilsson and Ellesmere? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
Yes.
Nielsen and Ellsbury, Nielsen 401.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. That's what I don't know how long that was, Trev, but for some reason, whenever I see that building, bro, and you should see it now, man. They renovated it, right?
Really?
Yeah, man. They renovated Livonia Place, bro. So it's the same shape and all that, right? But you go in there, bro, and it looks like a condo building. Like I think it is considered part condo or whatever. I think some of those people do own those units, and they made such nice improvements. It's actually a really nice building, bro. So that's interesting. If you're ever in the area, man, you should stop in there and see. You'll be impressed how nicely that is now.
Next time I'm around the way, I gotta go take a look. I forgot about that. That was a short.
How long were you there? It was a short stay?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Awesome. So, okay, bro. So, all right. So Toronto's the spot. Scarborough was a short stay. I'm still giving you the Scarborough recognition though, bro. Okay. So now I want to talk about school and minor hockey before Don Mills, because life didn't start with Don Mills. We were 9 years old when we started in novice, right? So I want to ask you about where you played your house leagues. Like, where did Trevor Daley learn to skate? Paul Coffey, like, where was that, man?
My gosh, it was mostly in Toronto, down at Jimmy Simpson, right off of Queen Street there, Queen and Carla area.
Really?
The outdoor rinks. That's kind of where I spent most of my time. And then I actually, when you talk about Scarborough, I think it's considered Scarborough now, but Agent Court Arena was where I played my house league. Was Agent Court was there. So that's kind of
okay.
I was there a little while ago and I drove by there and they had the new subway right there. I didn't get a chance to walk in and see if the rink was still there or not. I was passing through, but
Agent Court Arena is still there. It's still there. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, Seaside Hockey, which is a program that just came into the GTHL. They actually play out of Malvern and Agent Court.
Okay.
Right. And that's a program where Trevor, like, if only they had these things when we were growing up, bro. Like, me and you were lucky, man, that we knew guys like Glenn Robeson, and I know obviously your other coaches. They all helped us along the way with registration, with equipment, with all this stuff. Now you got programs like Seaside Hockey where the kids can get free equipment. Registration is free. Right? It's funded by the government. So what does that do, Trev? What did we see growing up? We were playing with a bunch of privileged, entitled kids because they had two parents that lived with them and they could afford to do all the stuff that we did. We couldn't afford it. We got the help. We were lucky, right? But other kids aren't lucky like that. No. And they can't afford it. And their parents are just like maybe they have like, you know, the talent, like Wayne Simmons playing AA all the way up. I had the talent to play AAA, but what if his parents were just like, you know what, Wayne, man, it's just too expensive, man. We're just not going to play. Like, why don't you play basketball or soccer or something that doesn't cost $1 million a year, right? So, dude, they got those things now, and it's so cool because I'm going to ask you how you felt because you touched on it in the beginning. We're a year apart. You were the only brother on your team. I was the only brother on my team. Then you would get called up and we'd be two brothers together. And that was an experience for us, right? Because we were always the only one. And then I played with guys, Trev, that didn't know how to handle that. They were always used to being the only one. So it was almost like a bad thing in a way to them because they couldn't accept being like more than one. That's how bizarre the scenario is. How did you feel growing up, Trev? Like, did you have similar feelings to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, Sean, you were like, you know, when you say you're my big brother, you at that point, it was, you know, you were my big brother. I thought you were the coolest guy on the planet. So, you know, I'm grateful for having that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, you mentioned, you know, there's programs now for kids to get into hockey. I've always said that's what's wrong with hockey is hockey's too goddamn expensive. You know, you don't always get the best athletes. You just get the richest kids playing. And And that's a shame for our game because, me and you looking like we look, probably shouldn't be saying hockey's the greatest sport on the planet. Hockey's the greatest sport on the planet. There's so many great things you can get out of it. Hockey made us who we are today. So, when I hear stuff like that, I know that I'm a big part of the HDA. I know we're doing things too to try to not just put sticks in kids' hands and say, hey, do you like hockey? It's more of like, here's gear, here's Glenn ropes, and you know what I mean? Here's resources, and that's how we're gonna grow the game today. And I wish there was more of it. I wish more people got involved with it that could, because the game's for everyone, you know what I mean? It should be for everyone. And the more that, the more resources are out there, but the game's just way too expensive. You know what I mean? You're looking at sticks. You know what sticks are. I don't even want to say what sticks are now because it's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
I got a son playing the game right now, and I'm just like, dude, are you serious? My mom would have beat me if I asked for one of these sticks.
or if she saw you break it, right?
Oh, it would have been. She would have beat me with it.
Yeah, no, for sure. So now, Trev, like there was a video that I watched when I was doing my research, and it was the What It Takes video. Do you know the one I'm talking about? It's about a 5-minute video, and you guys are mostly talking about your mom, and Trudy is somebody that I remember always having energy, bro. I don't know where, bro. I know all the passion and energy that you have. Like, I know your dad's a cool cat, but dude, you got that from your mom, okay? Because she was the most energetic, loving woman that I think I've ever met, like outside my family, man. And like she was like, when I was around her, I felt so comfortable, Trev. Like it was just like you said, like our moms were kind of similar in their personalities. And I just remember being so comfortable and really thinking of you as a younger brother. And I appreciate everything that you said earlier, bro. Like that's very, very cool to hear, especially from someone like you. So I wanted to thank you for that. But yeah, dude, I just remember her having so much energy. But now listen, here's my next question, because we're talking about being really young. Who do you credit, Trev? You know that you were gifted with being able to learn to skate like very few people. Like the way that you could cross over, you could see it when we were younger, man. Like, God, you weren't just getting called up to the older age group. Like you were playing with us and you were the smoothest skater on our team and you were a year younger. So how did you, like, was it just, you just naturally came into that, or was there a coach that really worked with you as a youngster?
Yeah, no. So, it's when I look back, there were so many, things I could look back on, and, just the love of the game is obviously the biggest part of it. If you don't love the game, forget about it. You ain't gonna get better at this game. But, I have 3 people for me, and obviously we were talking about mom. Mom's the one that provided and gave me the opportunity. And then my uncle, I wanted to play hockey because of my uncle. He was a hockey player. I wanted to do everything he did. And then, honestly, Sean, I was fortunate. I had a coach that looked like us in Spence Curtin, who was, if you watch Spence skate, like Spence was like I couldn't believe Spence wasn't an NHL hockey player. When I was a young kid watching him demonstrate drills and stuff, I'm like, he was the best skater I've ever seen before. And I had him as a coach when I was a kid, and it was, I think he was a big part of why I became such a good skater, because I used to look at him and be like, how's this guy not playing in the NHL the way he skates?
Yeah.
Young kid, I was just like, I just want to skate like him too. So I think it was a big part of me becoming a pretty good skater.
That's awesome, bro, because Spence Curtin, I really looked up to that guy when we were kids. And obviously, for the obvious reasons of, we didn't see anybody that really looked like us at the arena, except for Spence Curtin, except for Joel Ward, except for excuse my language, my brother, Rain Carnegie, and Ace Stu. right? In the 85 age group, right? But we're talking age groups. We're not talking teams, right, Trev? So like seeing Spence, seeing like, I think for me, like, and you could say, I mean, the skating thing is a good description, but for me, the guy was so professional. He was so proper, man. He looked like, it was like Barack Obama and Denzel Washington had a kid, man. He was all polite and proper, but then he was like a little jacked and like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I
movie star.
like that. I like that. Those are two good. That's Spence right there. 100%. Yes.
Yeah, Denzel, man, the training day Denzel, and then Barack Obama's swag, right?
100%. That's Spence. 100. I like that one. Next time
How
I
many
talk
years
to him,
did he coach you, Trev? How many years did he coach you? Was it just a couple?
Oh, you know what? Honestly, like, how many years did he coach me? Spence is still coaching me today. You know, there's still.
There you go.
I still reach
like
out.
that.
That man is a special person. You mentioned two people that are like out of this world, and that's,
bro.
So I love surrounding myself with people like that, and Spence will never. I mean, he's gonna have to find a way to get rid of me, but I
That's awesome, bro. So okay, so now I want to get into going to Sault Ste. Marie. Now, I'm going to assume, now I was looking up all your NHL stuff, buddy, so I apologize. I didn't look up your draft in the OHL. How high did you go in the OHL draft?
I went 10th.
So you were a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Lots of pressure, right? You were the man coming in. Everybody knew that. Underage pick, 16-year-old, right? Now, your first year, you guys had quite the playoff run. Do you mind talking about that a little bit? How far did you guys go that year?
Yeah, we went to the conference finals that year and lost to Plymouth, I believe.
Okay.
They had like you mentioned earlier, they had Stephen Weiss there, who was
he was phenomenal, eh?
Justin Williams was there. I remember Justin Williams. They had a pretty good team. I think they ended up losing to Barrie Colts that year in the finals. But yeah, it was an amazing year. You know, my first year was probably my coming out year in the OHL. It was actually my first year of a full year of defense too. So I had so much fun coming to the Sioux. Was my mom was like, the Sioux's the furthest possible place you could go. We don't want to go to the Sioux. And I remember that was her. As we I drove up to Brampton Arena. I think that's where the draft was, Brampton Arena or Mississauga. I can't remember which arena, but she's like,
it was Brampton. You're right, because you're an underager. So me and you were the same OHL draft.
Yeah. So I remember
Brampton.
Please not the Sioux, because I know. And sure enough, the 10 pick, and I think Kingston picked the pick before. They took Jay McLennan. Or no, Jay McLennan. He went.
No, it would have been Sweet Lou. No, Sweet Lou was in London. Then he got traded to Kingston.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly the order there, but yeah, 10th overall. Yeah.
Right on, man. So now, did you like we're so young in the OHL draft? I mean, I know it's only like a year before our NHL draft eligibility, but was it a big party? Was it a big deal for you? And the reason why I'm asking this is because I'm going to ask about the NHL draft right after this.
Yeah, it was a big deal. I think just like the fact of getting drafted, like, we're a humble family, that no one ever, really played hockey at a high level. So, just the, having that to bring, our family together, like for something to celebrate was pretty cool. We were
doing
a family.
Something that no one's done before in the family too.
Exactly. Yeah. We didn't come from much. So, just having that opportunity was pretty cool.
Okay, so now I want to talk about the NHL draft, Trev. So I mean, this is like the Dallas Stars. Like, even though they're kind of like a somewhat new team, they just seem so established. Like, they seem such a professional organization. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've always thought of the Dallas Stars as kind of like a top tier team, right? And like, you went pretty high, second, like high second rounder, 43rd overall, right? And my question to you is, these drafts, like the OHL draft, the NHL draft, I look at them as family accomplishments. I look at the NHL draft as them saying, we recognize your family as putting in the commitment, your kid's good enough, so now we're going to give him an opportunity to take it to the next level, but it's up to him. But this is for your family. We're drafting your son. He's in the 0.111 percentile or whatever it is, Trev. How do you look at it as the end of the drafts?
Yeah, no, that's it. So my draft was in Toronto.
Okay, that was my next question. That's
so,
awesome.
It was kind of a big deal for me. We had, I had a lot of people there, and I think the draft, I was ranked anywhere from like a later first round to Sean not getting drafted. So it was a little, I was like, should I even go to this? But I had a ton of people there. Bobby Orr, my agent, was like, you're gonna get drafted, and I was like, well, what if I don't get drafted? It's not gonna be good,
Yeah.
The boys down to the hood won't let me back in if I don't. But it was special. I was actually high second pick, but I was Dallas's fourth pick. They picked they picked 28th in the first round, and then they had like 3 picks in a row. So I was 37, so they had like 35, 36, and 37.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, really? You took me at 37? Mm-hmm. So I had a little chip on my shoulder going into Dallas, but like you said, Dallas was I'm indebted to that organization for life. Obviously there, spending 14 years there was amazing. My kids are born there. Dallas is one of the greatest places on the face of the planet. So great organization, amazing people, Sean. Those people in Dallas are my people for life. So no, what a great accomplishment, but to get drafted. But yeah, that I was at the draft in Montreal this year, and that was my first time being at the draft since I was drafted. And I'm just thinking with these kids, like how exciting, how cool it is to get drafted. But that's just the start, man. You're not even close when you get drafted. Like, you're still a long way, but it was a cool experience. It's such, like you said, it's for families. It's to say, hey, you guys done a good job, up until now, because this is such a big commitment to play hockey for the families too. And it's more of like, hey, so for some parents, like, don't show up anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like the other thing is, Trev, is like, other than a year or two in major junior for some of us, when we get to 18, to that point, our families have been through everything through and through with us. So like, I just think it's really cool, like for the uncle to feel proud, the mom, the dad, the grandparents, like everybody's proud because they all took a part in it. They all drove, they all probably chipped in money. They all, like, for tournaments, and we have no money. We're going to Detroit, Michigan. What are we going to do? Oh, well, maybe grandpa can lend us a couple $100 so we could eat. And you know what I mean, bro? Like, it's
100%.
This is real stuff, man. Right?
100%.
And it's
my grandparents bought me skates every year, Sean. That was my gift every year. The start of the year, my grandparents bought me new hockey skates. So
now I was talking with my mom about your grandfather. And she made a comment. She made a comment about your grandfather, that he really did spend a lot of time with your uncle and with yourself, right? Do you mind talking about that relationship a little bit? Because it's a pretty cool stuff, man. Yeah, no,
absolutely. Like my grandparents, I blessed them for being part of raising me. They were a big part of like I spent every day at my grandparents' house. So. But my grandfather was just, I don't want to like compare him to like Don Cherry, but he was like that Don Cherry type that, knew everything about the game, at least told you he knew everything about the game. Okay, and he was so convinced about it. But great. I remember this, hockey night in Canada, just watching, in between periods with him, whenever watching the Leafs play, was a ritual in our house. It was a ritual for my grandfather to come to every one of my games. And the best ritual that I had with my grandfather, Sean, is after every game, I had a Sprite and a hot dog waiting for me. And that was the greatest thing of my memories growing up.
Yeah, man. And you know what? In that video, you do mention that. You just said, because it's the simple things, right? And it's weird because now that I look at it, Trev, like we're in 2022. So now there's all this, education on health and diet. And like, I remember the biggest treat would be the hot dog and the pop, the bag of chips and the pop in the car is like the most unhealthy thing you could have for after a game, right, Trev? But we loved it. And we were kids, and it could have been a prime rib steak. It wouldn't even have mattered. We wanted that hot dog and that bag of chips, and we wanted that can of pop, man. If we got it, we were content. And I think that little things like that are the coolest things to talk about, man, because it's not a lot of money, and it's very, very simple. And we loved it, man. I know you did for sure.
Oh, greatness, man. Yeah, I'll never forget that. Never forget it.
Now, a lot has changed since those days in Vic Village, man. I actually like the day job that I have now, Trev. Like I drive this company vehicle, and I had to go to this location, and it was right by Victoria Park in Bermondsey, and I hadn't passed Vic Village, man. It's like
you had to go in.
What's that?
You had to go in.
No, I didn't have to go in. Just driving by was cool enough for me. Just because we used to be there multiple times every week. People have to remember that in AAA, dude, we were playing 3 games a week and had 2 practices a week. Like it was 4 or 5 times minimum out of the 7 days, right? If you really think about it, that's crazy, man. It's like an Olympic swimmer, right? Like Phelps, man. At 6 a.m, swimming before school, right? So, dude, this reminiscing, I love. So I apologize. One of the things that I'm going on for so long, one of the things I really like to talk to you about is what you mentioned before. This incredible organization that is part of the movement right now for hockey, like equality in hockey inclusiveness, but most importantly, hockey diversity. So the Hockey Diversity Alliance, which I look at as like kind of the poster child for the change. Like there's a lot of different organizations that are similar to HDA trying to do similar things, but with the star power like yourself, Dreamer, Stewart, Dumba, it's powerness. It's power. You know what I mean? And people will give you guys that attention because of how great you've done and because of what you look like and what the topic is, to be honest, right? So what is your role with HDA? Like what's your title with the association?
Well, first of all, it's been I think 2 years now. And this is how, Sean, this is how I was sitting here in the Sioux. This is how HDA came about was, I was sitting on Zoom calls and, with Dreamer, with Dumbs, with these guys. And we were just having conversations like this, you know what I mean? It was so organic where it was like, you know what? All of us had the same story growing up, Sean, and you can relate to this. We started with I think like 40 guys that looked like us. We ended with 8. You know what I mean? So how hard it was in the start to even to do this. You know what I mean? And honestly, I didn't understand why more guys didn't jump on ship with us. I looked at it like, hold on a second, like if I could help another kid from never having a coach that didn't like him because the color of his skin, or if I could help another kid that never was able, parents to provide so they could play the sport that they love. I mean, those are 2 things I had to deal with myself. And I'm like, hey, so you're telling me we could help kids do this? And I was like, where do I sign up? And then, the fact that, it was tough coming out. You know, like guys were unsure. Should we do this? Should we do that? I'm like, guys, like I don't ever want a kid to go through what I went through. Why would we not do this? And that's the hard part. Why I wish we would have more. I wish we didn't come out with 8. You know, people look at, well, why is there only 8? Why or 9? Why is there not more of you guys? Well, I wish I had that answer. There's guys that honestly, Sean, that look like us that never had to deal with racism, and I get that. You know what I mean? Thank God you never had to deal with it because it sucks. But my thing is, if I wasn't so good, Sean, at hockey, when I went back to the Sioux, my first year being drafted, signing a contract, and then set back to Sault Ste. Marie, if I wasn't so good at hockey then, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today. And that's what's so scary, and that's what bothers me, and that's why I'm so happy to be part of the HTA, because hopefully if I could help just one kid that doesn't have to go through that, that's good enough for me. So I feel like I'm doing it for all the right reasons. I think it's great what we're doing. I'm not as involved with the day-to-day stuff as guys like Dreamer is. Dreamer's doing an unbelievable job, and I'm so blessed that he's doing that. I'm so blessed for him. But yeah, you know, we want to be able to provide, give back. You know, hopefully, you know, a coach looks at our organization and was like, hey, I ain't gonna mess with this kid. You know, things like that.
100%, dude. And let me, because obviously we're talking about your organization. So let me tell you what it means to someone like me as another player, a former player, you know, that we look the same. I want to thank you guys for doing what you do, Trev, because, you know, you're saying, oh, people are saying, oh, how come there's only 8? Well, we have to start somewhere. We have to start somewhere, dude, because it's the only sport that's not inclusive. It's the only sport where it actually matters where your family is geographically, right? If you're gonna have a chance to make it or not, unless you're Trevor Daley, unless you're Anthony Stewart, unless you're Chris Stewart or Wayne Simmons. But if you're not one of those guys, a handful of names, you're not. When you went back to the Sioux, you're absolutely right, Trev. If you were one of those guys that was like a borderline, you were fighting for that 6th spot on defense, or you were a 4th liner getting healthy scratched every 2-3 games, then dude, you wouldn't have been able to do what you did because of the controversy and the tension and all that stuff. But because you were the best player, they said it's either him or him, right? And they chose you, which was the obvious choice, and things went on. Right. So you're absolutely right. I just wanted to recognize that and address that, because it was really brave what you had to go through. You were very brave for what you had to go through, and you pulled out on top, buddy. So, you know, hats off to you. If I had one on this shiny thing that I make good wishes on, man.
I like it. Hey, you look good though.
Thanks, buddy. But your hair is the same. But I'm telling you, if I had a Don Mills picture from minor Pee Wee and put it beside yours, they'd be like, so what are these, twins, or who are they? You know what I mean? They think it was the same time, bro. I'm telling you, man. I don't know how you do it. I don't know what you're eating, but keep doing it though, dude.
Just whatever's in the red cup. That's all.
Yeah. I'm sure the wife has a role in the diet, right? For you?
The wife?
Yeah.
Oh, she's.
Is she a good cook though? Like, are you guys vegans, or like, you should see my brother Patty, man, all the diets that him and his girl are on. Like, are you guys like that? Do you eat diet together?
We just try to keep it clean for the most part. We like red cup, so we try to we'll eat clean, but we'll drink out of the red cup.
Great on, man. So hey, so listen, so just to clear things up, because I was unsure. Before the recording, I was talking to you a little bit about the Everblades, because there was a COVID situation where they emergency called you and said, man, is there any way you can help us out? And you were able to play a couple games, but you did retire after that, Trevor Daley, or is the door still open to some more professional hockey games?
Well, first of all, congratulations to the Everblades. They won a championship this year.
That's right. Shout out to the Everblades.
Unbelievable for them. What a great group of guys. I was, Sean, when somebody calls you to come play hockey when you're retired, and it's not like for a men's league game, I was like, you want me to come? What? But,
so how gassed were you though? Like how was it, man?
Well, I live in the area. I'm like 20 minutes from the rink. My son's there every single day, so they knew that. It wasn't like they were, we need to go out and get Trevor Daley to come in. They were like, well, it was
right here.
It was like, I think there was 3 other men's league guys that played that night and me. So
really,
yeah, it was. They had a bunch of guys out with COVID. The world we're living in. If it wasn't for COVID, I would never got to play hockey again. So, COVID, as bad as COVID is, it allowed me to lace them back up for one more time. But it was one more time, and as of right now, I'm fully retired. Okay,
right on. No, because I know the listeners and viewers would be interested in that. Oh, is he gonna play another game? So I wanted to ask straight to the source. So now, I told you a time. I know that we've doubled it already, so I apologize. But
That's
just
right.
before we go, Trev, I just wanted to talk about. You did mention that your son is playing. And now, do you have 2 little ones, or is it just the one?
Yeah, I got 2. I got a daughter that's 9, and I try to keep her away from hockey as possible. Sorry, my daughter just turned 10 last week, so I should get that right. I should know that. And then I got a 13.
Well, she was 9 for a whole year.
Yeah, she was. Yeah,
she's only been 10 for a little bit, so you're all right, man.
So yeah, I got a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old, and it's honestly, it's the greatest thing in the world, Sean. There's nothing better than being able to give back and see kids that actually you're responsible for. So it's been fun. It's been fun.
Right on, man. So now, can this kid skate like his dad? Does he can you see like potential or what?
You know what? Does he skate like dad? I always tell him, like, he always asks, I'm like, you're not even close, dude. And I think that's a little bit. Yeah.
Does he say, Daddy, can I skate like you can? Does he ask you that?
Well, he wants to play defense. I'm like, dude, you don't skate like Daddy. You can't play defense. But he's pretty good. He loves the game, and that's kind of what I promote with him. I'm not the dad that's gonna tell him what to do or how to do it. I'm gonna give him the opportunity, just like our mom gave us.
Yes,
I think our moms did a pretty good job of getting us to where we got to. So I'm kind of following mom's lead and providing and giving him resource and if he comes to me and says, Daddy, I want to play hockey, I'm gonna be like, okay, let's go.
Yes.
So that's kind of how I work out with him.
Right on, man. And I absolutely love that stuff, buddy. And because we brought the mums back up again, I just wanted to tell you that my mom was making sure that I remembered to tell you that she said hello, man. So
make sure you tell your mom I miss her so much.
I will, buddy. I will for sure. Usually I do the recordings from her place. So if I was there, she'd be jumping right beside me. She'd be telling you you should see her, man. She's been in like 40% of the episodes, man. Cause she'll just come and sit and be like, I want to talk to him too. And I think it's great content. So I'll be welcoming it. Right. So
amazing. Next time I'm up that way, Sean, we definitely got to hook up, and I definitely
man. 100%, Trev. And the one thing about the show, the greatest thing about the show, man, is being able to reconnect with people. Like this is 130 plus episodes, right? So this is 130 guys that most of them I played with, at somewhere along the line, right? So awesome. It's pretty cool. But dude, I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you being patient with me with the time. I know I'm being a little greedy and keeping Mr. Daley for longer than I said. So, but I really appreciate it, dude. I really, really love the stories you told. You're a great speaker, man. You should probably have your own show, Trev. You got a lot of talents, buddy. You got a lot of options here, man. So it definitely looks good on you, buddy.
Sean, I'm so happy to see you. I'm so happy that you're doing what you're doing, and I wish you nothing but the best. And anytime you need me on the show, dude, or need anything from me, let me know, brother.
All right, man. Hey, man, I got one favor to ask you. I'm going to ask you on air because I always tease all our buddies because no one can seem to do it. If you could connect me with Dub Sims, Simmons, bro, that guy's like, man, he's different, man. You know, like not on social media, very hard to get a hold of, man. You know what I mean? And we're all busy, right? So it definitely.
Dub Sims is big time. He's a Toronto local league, so you know what it's like.
Bro, I know.
It's a way to
buddy. Yeah, for sure.
I can see what I could do.
Okay, cool, man. But I'm just messing with you, buddy. I always bring it up to like all the Toronto guys. Where's Dub Sims? Where's Dub Sims? But yeah, man, it was an absolute pleasure, Trev. I'm so proud of you, bro. Just the career you have, the man that you've turned into. You're a great father, great family man, but best, you're just a good human being, bro. So I appreciate you coming on so much. I'm glad that we reconnected, but now you're in it, buddy. I got your number, bro. So I'm gonna be bugging you all the time. I might be asking you some business advice. I might be doing this. It might be all different, but you're in it to win it now, buddy.
Let's do it, baby. I like it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end the show right now. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to another episode of The Sheriff featuring special guest, Mr. Trevor Daley. We're going to sign out now, guys. Woo!